Welcome back to Wisdom Unveiled. Today, we're continuing our journey into the thought of Khajeh Nasir Tusi.
An incredible figure. His work spans so many fields.
Exactly. And this time, we're zeroing in on something really fundamental to his philosophy, his whole approach to dialogue.
Right. Not just talking, but dialogue as a specific philosophical tool, a way to get at truth.
We're drawing again on those interesting discussions from the Marifat program with Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani. Our aim really is to unpack how Tusi viewed genuine conversation as, well, essential for intellectual progress.
It's a fascinating topic, especially now, So much discussion feels like combat.
Totally. So our mission here is to explore Tusi's ideas and see what they offer. And just a quick reminder for everyone listening.
Yes. This is based on translations of discussions between Iranian philosophers. Some details, some nuances might not come across perfectly in English. We do apologize if there are any discrepancies.
Okay, so let's dive in. Dr. Larijani makes a really key point early on about a distinction Tusi drew between dialogue, the Persian word is guftogu, and something else like debate or argument. Jadal or monazara.
Yes, that's crucial. For Tusi, guftogu, or dialogue, it's fundamentally collaborative. It's two-sided, meaning the goal isn't for one person to win. It's about both people working towards a shared understanding, towards uncovering some aspect of truth together.
Okay, so it's not a competition.
Definitely not. He explicitly rejected the idea of philosophical discussion being like wrestling Mosareya, as Dr. Larijani mentions.
Wrestling, like pinning your opponent intellectually.
Exactly. In wrestling, the whole point is to defeat the other person. Tusi felt that if that becomes the goal, just winning the argument, then the actual search for truth gets lost. It's pushed aside.
Right. So debate or jadal is more about that victory condition.
Often, yes. The primary aim can become just proving you're right and the other person is wrong, rather than, genuinely exploring the issue from all sides.
So if dialogue isn't about winning, what did Tusi see as its core purpose? What's the ideal outcome?
It's about broadening perspective. Tusi talked about this idea of almost like a merging of horizons.
Merging horizons.
Yeah. Imagine each person has their own viewpoint, their own horizon of understanding. In true dialogue, you try to genuinely see the world, or at least the issue at hand, from the other person's viewpoint.
Okay. You step into their shoes, so to speak.
Precisely. And when those perspectives combine, when you look through both lenses, you get a much wider, clearer view of the truth than either person could have seen alone.
That leads nicely into the next point, about truth itself. Dr. Larijani explains Tusi's view on the goal.
Yes, the ultimate aim is the revelation of truth, hakikat. But critically, Tusi didn't see truth as something one person could, own or possess exclusively.
So it's not my truth versus your truth.
Not in that sense. It's more like truth is this, objective reality or understanding that we are trying to approach. Dr. Larijani uses a wonderful parallel.
The one from Islamic practice.
Exactly. Seeking korbi hakikat, nearness to truth. It mirrors the intention in worship, quasi-korban, seeking nearness to God. It's about the approach, the intention, the shared striving, not claiming ownership.
That really shifts the focus away from ego, doesn't it?
Completely. It becomes a communal aspiration.
So for Tusi, is philosophy itself, the very practice of it, inherently dialogical? Is it something that requires this kind of exchange?
Absolutely. He saw philosophy as fundamentally based in dialogue, and importantly, not just dialogue between people.
What other kinds?
Well, obviously the interpersonal kind, discussions, debates, arguments even, if done right. Tusi engaged with scholars from all sorts of backgrounds, theologians, mystics, other philosophers, but it also includes internal dialogue.
You mean like thinking things through yourself?
Yes. That internal monologue, where you question your own assumptions, where you pose arguments and counter-arguments in your own mind, that's also a form of dialogue for Tusi, a dialogue with oneself.
And he used different ways to have these conversations, right? Not just face-to-face.
Oh, definitely. Correspondence was huge. He had extensive letter exchanges, continuing these intellectual explorations across distances. And perhaps the most intriguing part, his engagement with texts.
Okay, dialogue with texts. That sounds very modern, almost like hermeneutics.
It really does. It predates a lot of modern theory, but the concept is there. Tusi treated reading not as passive reception, but as an active engagement, a conversation.
How does that work? How do you talk to a book?
Well, the key is to approach the text with a question. You're not just reading to see what it says. You're reading to find an answer to something you're already wondering about.
So you initiate the dialogue with your question.
Exactly. And Dr. Larijani highlights a crucial step Tusi advocated, asking the text, what question are you the answer to?
Trying to figure out the author's original problem or purpose.
Precisely. If you understand the question the author was grappling with, you have a much better chance of understanding the meaning and context of their answer, their writing. It prevents you from just imposing your own modern questions onto an ancient text inappropriately.
So active reading, interrogating the text, understanding its underlying question, it makes reading a two-way street.
It really does. It transforms it from just absorbing information to a genuine interaction across time.
This connects to another really deep idea that came up, this notion of inherent human questioning and existence itself being like a dialogue.
Yes, this is fascinating. Dr. Dinani brings this up. Humans are, by nature, questioners. It's innate fitri. You see it even in the Quran, right? So often it says they ask you, acknowledging this fundamental human drive.
Divine revelation responding to human questions.
Right, but it goes deeper. The idea is that existence itself, the very being of things, poses a kind of question or makes a demand.
How so?
Think of it as potentiality. The thing's capacity to exist, its demand to have certain qualities, is like a question posed to reality seeking fulfillment. It's a philosophical way of looking at potential and actuality.
Okay, that's quite abstract. How does it link back to understanding and dialogue?
It connects through a really important philosophical principle Tusi discussed, commenting on Ibn Sina. La yurafu shayun illa bi ma huwa fihi minhu.
Which means?
Roughly, one cannot know a thing except by what is in oneself of it.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
It means for knowledge or understanding to happen, there has to be some kind of resonance, some shared nature or affinity. The word used is Senkhiyyat, between the knower and the thing being known.
So you need something in common.
Yes. You can't understand, say, the concept of heat if you have absolutely no capacity to experience temperature. You can't grasp color if you have no capacity for sight. There needs to be a bridge.
So our ability to understand the physical world comes from us being physical.
In part, yes. And our ability to understand, say, mathematical or spiritual concepts comes from having a rational or spiritual capacity within us. There's an affinity.
I see. It's like you need the right receiver to pick up the signal.
That's a good analogy. Dr. Dinani uses the poetic image of the Jamajan Nama, the world-revealing cup. The idea is that the human being is a microcosm, reflecting the macrocosm. We can understand the universe because, in a way, the universe is in us.
Wow. Okay. And connecting that back to dialogue.
Well, it implies that for genuine understanding to happen between two people in a dialogue or between a reader and a text, there needs to be that shared ground, that Senkhiyyat, that affinity. We understand each other because we share a common humanity, common rational faculties, common experiences to some degree.
Understanding relies on that resonance.
Exactly. It's not just cold logic. It's about connection.
And there was a brief mention connecting this to Tusi's Shia perspective on the Imam.
Yes, very briefly, Dr. Dinani noted Tusi's view that the Imam possesses a kind of perfect and complete affinity, or Senkhiyyat, with the divine. This is linked to the concept of Esmat, usually translated as infallibility, which Tusi connects to God's own infallibility, Esmati Rab.
Suggesting that perfect understanding comes from perfect affinity with the source.
That seems to be the implication, yes. A complete resonance allows for complete knowledge in that specific theological context.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Tusi's philosophy of dialogue is incredibly rich. It's about collaboration, not winning.
It's about seeking truth together, recognizing it's not one person's property.
And seeing dialogue everywhere, between people, within ourselves, even with the books we read.
Right. And underpinning it all is this fundamental idea that understanding requires a connection, an affinity, between the knower and the known. Senkhiyyat.
It really is a powerful way to think about how we interact with ideas and with each other, moving beyond just wanting to be right.
Definitely. It encourages humility and a genuine openness to learning from others and from the world.
So maybe a final thought for you, listening. How could consciously adopting some of Tusi's approach, focusing on understanding, seeking truth collaboratively, recognizing that need for affinity, how could that change your conversations, the way you learn, the way you engage with different viewpoints?
Something to reflect on. Tusi's wisdom certainly gives us a lot to think about.
It really does. We'll continue exploring his profound insights in future deep dives. Thanks for joining us on Wisdom Unveiled.